Actually, well, in fact, but it's just like, I love it.
Most of the time, it's 9 out of 10. People don't know what they're reading, they don't know what they're saying, and it's disappointing. That's my only redeeming quality.
Straight and then left and then left.
Some of the companies are posting services. They actually have a lot of surveys and I don't know how to cheat on it, but you can. Yeah, you can cheat on that, but they somehow kind of confirm. I try to cheat it, I could. So, and then if you're okay, you have this question. So I just don't have time to do that. I don't have time to do it. If you're afraid, you want to go for 100 questions for other ones. It's I can see that. I
talked to Fred about it, and Fred said he was like all confident. Fred actually didn't know. He was like, actually, he was like, that's so unacceptable. And I was like, yeah, I didn't really care about it, but I honestly, I talked to him and loved it. No, it's not. But I like build the systems that now does the data entry, and so I'm like, I just build the thing. So I'm just like, it seems unfair. I mean, I'm more here because I feel like I care more about that. Josh is like expand. I feel like yeah, I think I need to. I really realize that. Like maybe I'm being taken. No, I know. It's just I'm in this weird position where it's like I have one more year of school and it's like so it's like at the end of the day I don't it's not a huge deal if I don't like it's not like I'm like living on it but I'm just like I don't know. I have just such a slammed schedule. It's just like I've been getting like super stressed with all like the stuff I have to do, and I just like I thought so more like I'm like because I like want to do things drastic.
Yes, some now, so please sit down and so start. closer,
Come
maybe.
closer,
Yeah.
forward, so that
Not
you
so
can see
far.
what we're presenting.
Come closer, come closer. Don't sit on the last tables. Come here. There are a lot of places. Okay, hi everybody. I'm super happy to see you here, and I see a lot of new people here. So I will introduce some little more about Sales OStin in general, and we will speak with our speakers today about our topic. Me and Val and Lucy and my husband and my partner as well. We are a portfolio company of Capital Factory, and maybe you know that in Capital Factory there are a lot of different events. And when we became portfolio company, we decided, oh, we don't see anything about sales, but we saw a lot of events about technologies, AI, it's great, but if we say about scaling business, about growing business, every investor asks you about sales, about revenue, and so on. And we decided, okay, this is interesting topic for us because we are maybe nearly more than 16 years in building up sales, and our product is Big Sister AI is about sales too. That's why we decided, okay, we will do the club where we will invite great people who work with sales every day, who have experience there, and who can share it. So today we have two great people, is Alex and Jeff. And our moderator is Val, who will ask some questions sometimes. And today we will have another one, like format of our meeting here, of our event. Because every time we have like separately conversation, but today it will be something new. So I'm happy to introduce you our two speakers, Alex and Jeff, please. Maybe for you first, yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, I can help. Usually I start the event, but used to say, oh, can I start? I just only say hi, and then you can introduce guests. But today, Lucy is playing my role. It's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, your presentation, and yeah, you can run your. So, what the difference? Usually I have session by session. So one speaker, then the second one, like the next one. But today I have like, I know, duet.
Yeah, I would say it's a duet. Jeff and I have met for the first time today, but I joked with him that like all good salespeople, you got to be quick on your feet and improvise. So we're gonna riff together on this, and I think the thing to point out is like we're here for you all. Like sales is hard. We've spent cumulatively 30+ years doing sales and sales leadership with technology and software, and so we're here to answer any questions that you have about sales. Anything at all. We've got some topics on the presentation to go through as a guide for us. But for intros, I'm Alex Larson. I'm 7 years now in Austin. My wife, Alexandra, works with Capital Factory. And I've spent the last 10 years of my career in technology sales, starting as a sales development rep in a cybersecurity company, then moved into an account executive role. And after 4 years, moved to Austin to join a small Series B company called Grafana Labs that does observability for cloud infrastructure. But that was a really exciting journey because I got to experience Series B through Series E, 200 employees to 1,500 employees, and really like that was a very pressure cooker, hyper-growth environment. But like when you're in sales, that's kind of what you want. You want to be in the heat of battle. You want to be with the pressure, having to grow sales, and so. That's a little bit about me. 3 months ago, I started a new role, actually 2 blocks from here, at a company called Web AI. And I'll talk a little bit about what they do in a sec, but Jeff, do you want to do an intro?
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, nice to meet you. So real quick, I'm Jeff Riojas, VP of Sales for a company called Logically. So I just started my new job on Monday. Yeah. So I am going 100 miles an hour. I was telling Alex earlier, I was like, I'm actually standing up the sales org right now, helping with the SDR team, helping the process workflow, so the topic is perfect. So real quick about me, I've been in Austin now for 32 years. I moved here when I was 1. Kidding. I'm joking. I've been here to go to UT. So I came here to go to UT 32 years ago, and been here ever since. And so my background, I have about 20 plus years experience in sales, of which 13 has been in leadership. So I started out at Dell, started out as an AE, got my first opportunity to lead a sales team in CA Technologies, which I think got bought out. I just went blank on who they got bought out by, but they're no longer around. And so from there, I was actually a SDR director. So that's how I got started in leadership. That's why I started developing processes, workflows, and kind of building from there. And so for me, I've just taken different steps at different organizations, from startups to Fortune 500 companies, and either stand up a sales organization, or kind of what I'm doing right now is to make the sales organization go from good to great. So right now we do have an established sales organization, but I'm getting in there to go from what they've already done, which is good, but to elevate it. So that's what I'm here to do. And like Alex says, this is a conversation. So when y'all have questions, by all means, please ask. This is a dialogue. And so we're here to help, and I'm here to learn as well. So I would love to learn a little bit more about y'all as we go along. So
cool. All right, Val, we're gonna get into it now. So topic today was generally around beyond cold calls. So I took that to mean, okay, let's talk about building pipeline and what that means for your business, and how you can implement some practices and processes that are scalable, that you can teach people to do that. And so the theme that I want you to think about is, when you're building pipeline, you've got to focus on the narrative. What is the story you're trying to tell your prospective customer? Everything you do when you're engaging with someone who you want to become a customer should be centered around building a narrative, building a story, because that's what we listen to. People like to listen to stories where there's a challenge, there's a beautiful outcome, there are key characters. And so when I think about sales, I think, how can I make my deal cycle as much like a story and tell my deal cycle like a story as possible? So that's the framing I want to give for this.
One thing real quick to reinforce that, telling a story is huge. Like when you are selling, it is an emotional process. When you start talking to prospects, it is emotional. And so to be able to have that narrative, to have a great story, it's extremely powerful. So I just wanted to build upon it. Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, let's see. Hands up. Who thinks building pipeline is hard? If your hand isn't up, I'd be impressed. But I think everyone's hand was up, which makes me happy, because it is very hard. So what can you do about it? I think I want to start with a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. There's not really any replacement for activity and high output. Volume is king when it comes to building pipeline. There's really no shortcuts around it. But there's a huge difference between spray and pray, as we like to say in sales, and really meaningful, deliberate, thoughtful outreach. And so that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. And so a couple of key points we're going to hit: building an account thesis. What does good messaging look like? Turning cold calls into warm calls, fostering a community, and then what happens after you get the meeting. All right, so this is something that's pretty consistent across any sales role, so probably quite relevant to any of your companies, startups that you're working on. As you think about going out and acquiring customers, the very first step is to figure out, okay, who am I going after and why are they a good target for me? So there's millions of companies in the world. You've really got to narrow down who is your ICP, and why would a company within that ideal customer profile buy from me? Anything you'd add to that?
Yeah, no, I was going to mention that ICP is extremely important, because in my experience, we've seen the higher churn customers did not fit that ICP.
Can you define ICP?
Ideal customer profile.
Thank you.
So if you're a company selling farming equipment, you're not going to reach out to a financial services company. You're going to find out, okay, who are the companies most likely to want this product that I have, and that my messaging will resonate with.
It's going to be, yeah, exactly. It's going to be who's your audience, who are you? Is it C-level? Is it director? Is it end user? It's also gonna be the segmentation. Is it healthcare? Is it retail? Is it gonna be the size of the company? It's gonna be the revenue of the company. And so all of these things play to that ICP, because once again, if you're selling to the wrong target, you're not gonna be successful. So identifying that is a strong way to get started and to build that pipeline more effectively.
So how to choose right ICP? So you say like wrong way, it's okay, but how I can understand it? I guess this customer with this budget, with this like.
It starts with a theory, and then you test that theory.
Okay.
So it starts with you and me sitting in a room as members of our company saying, based on what we know about our product, who do we think this is best suited for? Then we go and test that hypothesis by going and talking to people, reaching out to people, and then we're gonna learn and iterate on that as we go based on the results we get.
And that breaks down into both ideal buyer and then ideal user, which may be a different person, right?
Yep.
Like,
Sure.
the buyer is probably gonna be a decision maker within that org.
Yep.
And the users are gonna be people that are actually implementing tools and everything like that, so you have to convince them that it's gonna be good for these people.
Yep.
Absolutely. You can also tailor your messaging to each audience.
Right.
So that buyer, economic buyer, is gonna have, they could be CTO or a CFO, whatever that, that person who holds the purse strings makes that decision. What you speak to them about or what your message is going to be is gonna be different than the developer, than the end user, than someone who's remote. So when you start having the conversation, it's a conversation to be specific to that audience and what their needs are gonna be and what their pain is gonna be.
Yeah, so bringing it to a tactical level, right? Let's say, for example, you hired a entry-level salesperson, sales development rep, someone who you want to like start doing outreach and helping you to like get meetings so that you can build some pipeline. If you're gonna coach on this, the first thing I would say is, okay, your ICP is fintech companies because that's a good fit for our product or service, and below 10,000 employees because we're not fully ready to target the large enterprise. And so you identify this account, iCapital, picked it because I was looking at it earlier this week, so thought it'd be relevant. New York-based company, fintech, 1,500 employees. I would coach my SDR and I would say, okay, go and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is a must-have tool for doing any type of outbound outreach, and build a list of people. So look through the 1,500 people at the company, search for people with AI in their titles or their profiles, and build me a list of people who we think we should be talking to. Maybe there's 30, 25 people in that list, right? But then you've at least got a short list of people within a company who you want to go and talk to. And the next thing I would do, this stuff used to take, I would spend 30 minutes to 2 hours just on building an account thesis. I'd be researching 10K reports, which can be over 100 pages long. I'd be looking at news releases and articles. It's a painstaking exercise that now takes less than a minute. And this is the kind of prompt that I would ask ChatGPT or similar. I would just say, I'm a sales director at webai.com, and I use a URL. I find you generally get better results. Based on what you can find online, build me an account thesis for iCapital. I want to know how our product offering aligns to their strategic initiatives with AI, and I'm targeting these personas. It's literally that easy.
Also, too, are you gonna mention the different databases like Apollo and ZoomInfo?
Sure, yeah,
Yes.
visit that.
Yeah, there's some different ways. Obviously, with LinkedIn, to Alex's point, is remarkable. The amount of information there is once again remarkable. God bless ChatGPT. But then also with the different data points that are going to be in those different tools with Apollo, with ZoomInfo. But once again, the accuracy is, that's always going to be in question. But LinkedIn, without a doubt, is going to be the first place to go.
In my experience, the prompt usually looks like 10 times bigger than that. It's what I'm using, because whenever you're just putting a couple of sentences, it just gives you a very widespread answer, pretty much,
Sure.
right? So I'm usually also using that kind of, I'm this guy in this company, I'm doing my job well, I just want to do it better. So what do you recommend and all that? I'm putting this, but also I would break it down into like what specifically I may want to use from the personas that I'm looking for, what may be the description of that person, like what they could be responsible for. I mean, it works pretty good, but sometimes you need like 3-5 prompts to actually get to the bottom of the right answer.
That's an extremely good point, and I think Yeah, when you're getting really focused on that particular person, you would go that layer deeper. If you're thinking about, okay, I have 25 people, you know, I have 30 accounts, like I've gotta go fast.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
will give you something that you can at least, this is small, but the thing I wanna pull out of here is like, I don't need all of this, which is, I only need a few sound bites, a few little nuggets that I can pull from the account thesis, that in my outreach or in my cold call, like, I can reference those little nuggets of information. And so, this is stuff that I did in literally two minutes. And from this, just for example, right, the few things that I pulled out that I'm gonna like file away for when I do my outreach is like, okay, these guys just made an acquisition of Alt Exchange. You know, they're acquiring companies to deliver on AI initiatives. That's interesting. They're spending money, right, through acquisition. This is a good one. iCapital aims to strengthen advisor education. So great. I can talk about, okay, how are you guys doing using AI to improve advisor education today? And that's something that I know is going to be relevant to them.
And something real quick too, the tidbits, the information, that's a lot of information. It's great. It's a lot of information. You don't use it every conversation, but then also AI. AI is a buzzword, we're all going to talk about that, but perhaps that CTO level, that technical person would be much more interested. You see compliance right here, who's going to be interested more in compliance? Anyone?
Legal team.
I'm sorry?
Legal team.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe CIO, maybe exactly. There's going to be different tidbits you can pull out depending upon your audience. So that way you want to kind of pick out what's going to resonate with them most. Because all this is great, but if you're talking compliance to a developer, maybe not.
Yep.
But ease of use or a UI or something that's going to be more relevant to them, perhaps.
Maybe, sorry, we don't see anything on this place. What is there?
Sorry, a lot of text. That's right.
We'll move on.
There you go.
So let's talk about, okay, we identified an ideal customer profile. We picked an account we want to target. We've got our list of people. We've got our account thesis now. So we've got an idea of like why this company should care about what we're trying to sell. And so we're ready to go, right? So this is in the context of you've got an SDR entry-level salesperson, you're going to coach them in the right direction. For me, I would say there's a lot of varying opinions on this, but like I said at the beginning, volume is king. And there's so much noise in the market today that if you send one email and make one call, I guarantee you're probably not going to get anything from it. And so having 10 touches like this, and this is an example of sort of a sequence that I would use for a particular target I really want to talk to. The logic behind this is varied touches, and even if you're thinking to yourself, oh, this sucks, no one's responding to my emails or my messages, and like, I'm not getting anything from my outreach, believe it or not, people see the shit you send them. And when people see something in their email, and they're like, oh, web AI, yeah, it's interesting, you know, and they move on with their day because they're busy, right? But you just made a micro impression. And when you start to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 micro impressions, the next time you call them, let's say they're walking out of the office, they think it's someone else, they pick up the phone, you catch them in a good mood. And then you all of a sudden having a 5-10 minute conversation, like, oh yeah, I remember you guys, web AI, yeah. Tell me, what's your thing? Yeah, I've got a minute. That's the only thing you need. You need that one little break that you only got because they saw your name, they saw your email, they saw your message multiple times, and it left an imprint in their brain that you then caught them at the right moment to capitalize on.
Question, how do you know their number at that point?
There are lots of tools out there that
Apollo Zoom Info, so those are the tools.
Right, yes.
Yeah, I heard Apollo has been banned by LinkedIn or something.
Oh, they works.
They kind of share information from LinkedIn.
There's another company, I think like the data mining from LinkedIn and pulling the,
No, anyways, I got that.
yeah, Zoom Info. One thing too, to Alex's point, it's going to take multiple steps. It's going to take a concerted
channels. So it's not like 10 steps. It's like 3 channels.
Yeah.
So it absolutely, but you know, it's going to have that process oriented step 1, step 2. It's going to be methodical. And so that's the key, and it has to be a process for, you know, pretty much for every one of those contacts or prospects you're going to reach out to. So it will take multiple steps. And you have to just adhere to that process and trust the process.
Yeah.
Because on average, and this might be a little bit of a dated feedback, but it takes at least 8 to 10, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken, 8 to 10 touch points to even get a, not a yes, no, a response. Because to Alex's point, they see it. I'm sure we all get inundated with a lot of contacts on LinkedIn. I see it. Sometimes I reply. More times than not, but the point being is, I see it. It's out there.
Absolutely. So in this example, I picked Jose Perez because, you know, the company that I work for, Web AI, we built our platform to run on Apple Silicon. And I saw, what did I like? I saw that he owns the Apple ecosystem at iCapital, so he owns all the Apple devices, which is great. And he's got AI innovation in his title, so I'm thinking, great, he owns all the Apple gear, we deploy our stuff to Apple, and he's interested in AI innovation, which blends perfectly with what we do, which is running contextual AI for your business on Apple gear, Apple devices. So I'm gonna reach out to him. So, good outreach. There's a lot of different ways you can approach your outreach, but for me, short, sweet, personal is the way to go. I'll talk about LinkedIn and then email. For me on LinkedIn, when you, let's say you had that list of 30 people that you wanted to reach out to, I would always send a message with your connection request. People read this stuff. Like when I see someone connect with me, I see at least the first half of the message they sent me, right? And so here my message is, you've got 300 characters to work with, right? So you've got to be concise and get something punchy. Hey, I hope we can connect. Web AI enables teams to fine-tune small, task-specific AI models on commodity hardware. You own the data, the models, it's private, secure, and $0 per token to train the model. I love to share how other teams are building custom AI models and deploying on device. So like, this is a message I've used a lot and gotten a lot of connects with. And like, this is probably the biggest bang for your buck activity you can do with outreach. It's making that connection on LinkedIn. Why? Because then you can DM the person on LinkedIn. They'll see the stuff you share, and then when they're looking on LinkedIn, they're going to be getting all these impressions of your company. And so even if you don't get a meeting, you're making impressions, right? And you're building that momentum to the point where this person is much more likely in the future to convert to an opportunity or a meeting. So for me, this is the #1 thing you can do in terms of value per touch outreach.
One thing I'll add on top of that, the inverse of that is true as well. Not only are you seeing what, or is Jose seeing what you're doing,
Yeah.
you're seeing what he's doing. So you're seeing some updates let's say he got promoted. Let's say some activity, he posted something great about AI, about Apple, whatever it might be. You're right there. You see what he's doing. So that next message can be very personalized. So you say, Jose, congrats. Congrats on the promotion. Well deserved. And you're like, thanks. But the point being is, and we'll go back to this, you're there. Your presence, you're gonna be there, you're following in, you know what's going on. So that way, once again, that next message is very personalized. Great post, great, you know, whatever it might be, just engage is the key. Absolutely, could not agree with that more.
There's a previous slide where there's steps. There's probably there must be like extra steps or sub-steps when we were liking posts,
Yeah.
commenting posts.
Yeah, it's all part of it.
That's usually a part of it, right? So you kind
Yeah.
of accumulating attention. So this guy sees notifications if you were like all over it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you know, just as there's a bipolar opinions in the community about this outreach way, yeah, because I know lots of peers that are saying like, you should never tell the first message what is it that your company does and what is their kind of a rewards or whatever it has, because it's all about him. Just and then the other kind of group of people are saying like this outreach should be like in the first place, you should precisely and very concisely tell the person what do you want to do, what do you want to provide to them, value and all that. So, and the same bipolar reaction from the customers. Some of them perceive this as a good token of sort of you observing their changes in their life and their career and so on and so on. And some of the customers, my personal experience, they're saying like, dude, you're not interested in that. You're just making it up. Let's be real. You're not interested in that. And that's what they wrote. So, yeah, there's like two big camps of people in this situation, so wanna know your take on that.
I think you gotta have thick skin if you're in this game, because guess what? People will yell at you on the phone, they'll send you a nasty response to your email, you catch them on a bad day.
It's just
It
another
can
market.
happen, and it's part of the job. It's part of the challenge of building pipeline and doing outreach.
100%, and here's the thing too, it's gonna be A/B testing. It's gonna be one of those trial, you could have this amazing content right here, and you'll have people say, please stop. And you'll get other people saying, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It's just the audience, and keep in mind too, to Alex's point, you played baseball and you struck out 7 out of 10 times, you still go to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
So you're batting 300, you're still doing something right. If you bat 300 doing this, you are doing something great. Because odds are, to Alex's point, odds are you're gonna fail many, 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 many times. I've had people just hang up on me before, which is fine. I literally pick up the phone again and say, I'm sorry, we got disconnected. As I was saying, you gotta have thick skin. You know, we gotta be professional, of course, you gotta make sure we bring value, all that good stuff, but at the same time, it's gonna be trial and error. You're gonna have people who absolutely love this content, you have people who absolutely hate it, you're gonna have people that just are anywhere in between.
Yeah.
Cool, so this is LinkedIn messaging, general best practices, and for me, on the right is actually like what I sent him when we connected. And he responded to that message, we had a dialogue, and we booked a meeting. So this is like an actual situation where I sent this connection request, I sent the email I'm about to show you, and then I sent this LinkedIn message when we connected, he responded, and we booked a meeting. So this is
Alex,
the success case.
Yeah, quick question about so you have like template, or you have like doc with different like standard
Messaging?
like messaging which you try to customize for everyone.
Yeah.
So how you
Yeah, so when I work with the team, right, and we workshop messaging, right, so we're like, okay, if you had something that worked and you booked a meeting, share it. And then someone else can try it, they can tune it, tweak it. The collaboration is really crucial, because if you find something that works, you share with your peers, right? And it's like Jeff said, A/B testing, right? You're constantly looking to make the tweaks, to figure out, okay, what's the right balance of tone, content, messaging?
Without a doubt too, the sharing of best practices is imperative. And also what doesn't work, hey team, I just tried this, don't do it. I had one of my reps once tell me, he's like, I tried calling our contacts on Saturday, but people got mad. I was like, don't do that. He goes, well, they were, everyone answered. I was like, but don't do that, please. The point being, we have to share best practices, and ideally it's a team effort.
Yeah.
Because with the messaging, ideally, yes, you would have partners with marketing, you'd have partners with different sales orgs, you'd have partners with ELT, you would have a team there. So that's key. It is gonna be a team effort, and what works, amplify. Share those best, celebrate those best practices. Celebrate that I've been trying to get a hold of this gal for 6 weeks, she finally accepted. Awesome, good job. Yeah, absolutely.
I like what you're saying about sharing it, what I've found in a lot of the things that I've been part of, there's a lot of siloing between sales and CS and marketing, really badly. And what are some strategies that you can think of, or, I mean, I don't wanna take you off topic, but
No,
in
that's-
order to fix that?
That's a valid point, because that's something I face from the companies I've been with. The first thing they say, the communication is poor, we are siloed. And so it's my responsibility as leadership to tear down those walls and bring that collaboration. So when I've been doing it the past 2 weeks, and my new job is meeting all the key stakeholders, meeting with marketing, operations, finance, and telling them the first thing I ask is, how can we help you? How can sales make your life easier? And marketing and I, we have that cadence, without a doubt. We're gonna have that weekly call, going over results, going over pipeline review, all that good stuff, and then inviting them to my team meetings. Because I asked my team, hey team, when's the last time you were trained?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, we need training. And so bringing the marketing, bringing operations, bringing product, and then having them train, talk to the team, share best practices. And so that way it's gonna be, okay, we have an issue, escalation, all that good stuff. What is the protocol? What's the SOP? So that way, if and when there's any issues, I know where to go, who to talk to. More importantly, the team knows where to go and who to talk to.
Great point. So, I know this is small, it's difficult to fit it on here, but basically just make a key point here on email outreach. So for me, it's really helpful to, break it down into a simple concept as possible. And so, again, new technology makes this extremely easy to build really powerful messaging. When I'm doing this, I'm saying, okay, here's the person, and I'll literally copy paste their entire LinkedIn profile with all their experience, everything about them that they've shared on LinkedIn. I'll say, this is the person I want to reach out to. Craft me a why you, why now email based on their persona and what we do at Web AI. I like why you, why now because it's all about you personally and why urgently. And I feel like what you get from that is a lot more punchy messaging that seems a little more relevant. And so just a tip when you're thinking about email messaging and you're thinking about using AI tools, grab an entire LinkedIn profile, all the information you can gather about this person, throw it in there. This is my company. Craft me a why you, why now email for this person. And you'll be really surprised at how punchy the stuff you'll get is.
Nothing to add, that's right. Perfect.
I've seen all sorts of benchmarks around the average number of words per email that's actually the most performing, whatever. That seemed to be a little bit longer.
Sure.
Is there anything to that, or?
For me, it's like Jeff said, A/B testing,
Yeah.
right? But I like the idea of my first note will be something that's pretty in depth, right? Here's why you should care about this. Here's why now, based on the priorities your company is working on. Here's 2 lines on why we can solve these problems for you uniquely. And then my follow-up touches after that will be much shorter, more succinct, so that if they open the 3rd touch, they can scroll back up to the first one and actually get some information. So, again, just one opinion on the science.
Here's the thing too, and you're gonna find out you're gonna start finding patterns, especially what works and perhaps what audience, perhaps the different levels of who you're speaking to, C-level developers, finance, tech. You're gonna start developing patterns, even geographically, patterns. And so you're gonna start identifying what does work. I've had conversations with people in Hawaii versus New York. Could not be more different. It's fine. You just tailor. You tailor your conversations based on your audience. And A/B testing, you're gonna start seeing those patterns, seeing what does work and what doesn't.
You have a question?
No, yeah, I'm just curious, because I know when trying to do cold email at scale, you gotta do a lot of setup for that, and so you don't burn your domain, you don't land in spam.
Sure.
Can you talk maybe some about some of the technical setup or how you guys kind of mitigate that to make sure you land in the inbox? Because that's been kind of one of my issues.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're doing the same thing right now. So we have, I believe, so our domain is logically.com, but we have logicallymsp.com, logicallymssp.c. We have multiple, obviously, we're gonna have multiple domains.
The
Make sure-
domains is .com, yeah?
I'm sorry?
All domains for emails to use .com.
I thought we had to see it, perhaps. We have various, correct,
Okay.
correct. And so for us, of course, we don't be put on the naughty list. We don't be put and get those notifications. Previous companies I've seen that. And then also understanding what does get past those firewalls, what does get past the spam filters, like attachments, probably not gonna make it past there. Even I've seen links, even Calendly, I've seen a lot of things that get just trapped and they don't even get past the firewall. Now what you'll see also, I don't know if I'm tangent on this, but you'll see the reporting of open rates, and you'll see a 95% open rate. No, that's a spam filter, actually, just kicking that away. No one's opening that up. So it is gonna be a challenge, it's an ongoing challenge, and that's something IT or maybe marketing would have, hey, here are the different domains we're using, just as an FYI. Here is the content, hopefully, if there's an attachment or if there's a URL, it's all gonna be, it's gonna be something you have to take a look at.
There's any specific tool you're using for scanning the kind of emails with opens and maybe some attachments or links or
My
clicks?
team uses Apollo. There's a lot of different tools that do it, but knowing who's opening your email is really important because you're okay, they got the message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been using whatever you just found there in Google, just Google,
Sure.
just the first one you have, Google
right?
Sure.
And I thought maybe there's a specific, you know.
There are a lot of tools. There are, you know, to Alex's point, there are gonna be a lot of tools out there. We use kind of something called outreach. And so I believe that does use some insight on the opens, and there's other tools that also can identify when if it's been sent somewhere or forwarded. A lot of different tools out there depending upon what you're looking for.
So, let's talk about cold calls. No one loves to do it, but it is important, because right up there with connecting on LinkedIn, this is the second most valuable touch for the return to effort ratio, I would say. And this is way more art than science. Different parts of sales are sciencey, cold calling is an art. It's an art form, and that's why, here's some tips. The first one I think is the most important. Your tone and the way that you speak is way more important than what you say. It almost barely matters what you say. But if you can disarm someone and just get to the point where you go from the random person who cold called me to a person I'm having a conversation with, that's how you should be coaching and thinking about it. It takes practice, and it's something that maybe doesn't come organically to some people, but it is something that's very, very coachable and trainable. One thing that I've done a lot in my career is when you have someone who's really good at cold calling and just gets it, and someone who's struggling, put them in a room together and have them go call for call. Like, you go, I go, you go, I go. And then when someone connects, you listen to how they talk and how they go through the pitch, and then afterwards, you give each other feedback. It's an exceptional way to get better at this, and like, there's no secret sauce, it's just that. It's just collaborating, coaching, and teaching, and thinking about this as a team sport.
Yep. The only way you learn and the only way you get better is, first and foremost, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to realize that, guess what? You're not gonna have the perfect call. You don't need to do 20 minutes of research, 10 minutes of getting ready, and another 15 minutes of just preparing while you leave a voicemail. So the point being is, yes, you need to make sure you're surrounded with people who are exceptional, learn from them, and then grow. And then just keep that dialogue going between the two of you, and just work on your tone. I love the fact, yeah, the tone, what you say is relevant, but how you say it is so much more important. Have that confidence. That's what I always say, have that confidence. You act as if you're the best person in it. You act as if you know exactly what they're gonna require. So I could not agree more with it.
Do you wanna do a little role play?
No, I'm good.
You're Jose, you're Jose, I'm Alex, and I'm calling you.
Okay.
Alright. Ring, ring.
Yellow.
Hey, is this Jose?
It sure is.
Jose, it's Alex Larson with Web AI. I know I'm catching you on Thursday afternoon. You got maybe 30 seconds to chat?
I'm sorry, who is this?
It's Alex with Web AI. Hey, I know you're busy. Why don't we do this? I'm gonna take 45 seconds. I'm gonna tell you why I called. And then if you hate it and you don't wanna talk to me, you can hang up. But I think after 45 seconds, you're gonna want to talk a little bit more.
All right, you're on.
All right. Well, Jose, we connected on LinkedIn yesterday. I noticed that you were working on the Mac ecosystem over at iCapital, and you're leading some AI initiatives to improve employee productivity. I think what we're doing at Web AI is super relevant to your role and can actually help with some of the initiatives you're working on. We're helping people build contextual AI on an Apple ecosystem that solves problems related to employee productivity. I'm curious, how are you guys doing that today? Are you building AI solutions on OpenAI or doing anything on-prem that you're building on your own?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both.
Okay. When's the last time you took a meeting with a new vendor to explore new technology?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't tell you. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Well, I know you're busy, but we're doing some really exciting stuff with Apple, and I think if you took 20 minutes to take a look at the platform, you'd be really excited about what we're building. Can I throw something on the calendar for next Friday?
You can't.
So, just, I'm not gonna say that was good, that was off the cuff, right? But like, that's the spirit of it, right? Don't think about it, just jump. And every time you do it, you're gonna get better and better and better, to the point where you're gonna have one call where you say something stupid and you look at yourself after and you're like, why did I say that? And the next time you're gonna be on fire, you're just gonna be going, and you're gonna be like, wow, I was dynamite on that call.
One thing I'll say, absolutely, one thing I'll say too, if you have that call that just goes flawlessly, and it's an amazing call, it's just perfect, celebrate, yes, but then jump on another call. Because that next person will hear it in your voice. He or she will hear your confidence, and then it'll just start carrying over, and you start building upon what you've done. So, could not agree more with that. If you're gonna have those great calls, keep calling. Celebrate, take a second, and then just keep calling.
But what about if you had bad call? So.
Right. Then you slam the laptop, you go home, and you cry about it.
Maybe take a
Maybe you warn it, maybe take it out of call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, exactly. You take it, maybe take a deep breath, or just say, you know what, that didn't go as planned. Here's what I'm gonna do differently the next call.
Cool. All right, moving on. This is a really, really important one, and it's gonna look different depending on what you do in your business. But this is something that I've found to be a really, really powerful mechanism for warming up the top of the funnel of your pipeline, community development. And that can look a lot of different ways. In previous roles that I've had and in my current role, we do things like hackathons, where we bring a group of engineers who are interested in learning more about our technology and building something. We put them in a room with our product and our engineering folks, and we ask them, okay, what's the problem you want to solve? Let's spend 7 hours today building something together. They don't pay for it. It's just like about building a community. That could look like monthly webinars or workshops or lunch and learns, right? $25, you show up to the webinar, you sit and you hang out with us, and we buy you lunch. So something like that. Or it could be, you've got your product or your service complements really well with another company's product or service. Get together. Like, share the budget, do a happy hour, find some kind of creative event that you advertise together, bring your prospective customers into a room, and that's a way you can warm up the top of the funnel. And then open source or free tiers, right? Just getting people using your product, even if they're not paying you, that's creating warm leads to then follow up on, right? And then lastly, this is the magic sauce, customers talking to prospects. If you can find a way to get your customers in the same room with your prospective customers, get them listening to each other, talking to each other, you just watch. You don't even do anything. All you did was put them in the same room and get them talking to each other. That impact is so much greater than anything you could ever say to your prospective customer. So, I'm curious, is anyone thinking about this today? Like, how you can try to create a community for your customer base? I'm curious to hear if anyone has ideas or things they've tried in the past. I mean, we're all here right now in a community.
We used to do sort of that last group.
Yeah.
I worked for PushPay.
Yeah.
And we would fly in pastors for a thought leader event, and we wouldn't do any kind of sales at all.
Yeah.
On it. It would be purely bringing in experts in certain areas that could help and assist their churches, and bringing in the decision makers within the customers and prospects, and they end up asking to hear the sales pitch.
Yeah,
At the end of it,
exactly.
they ask.
You just change the paradigm. You're not cold calling them, they're walking up to you.
They're wanting
ask
to know
for
what it is. Yeah. What is it that you guys do?
Exactly.
I'm not sure if it could be replicated like every time, but you can figure out any occasion for that. But last year we had like a 10 years company anniversary type of event, and there's been a cluster of clients that we have like 5 to 10 that are strategic, that we bought plane tickets and all that, and just gathered them at our headquarters in Switzerland. So, and then we actually also gathered maybe 30 to 50 different prospects who kind of engaged already. They were part of our ecosystem. They're still thinking about something.
Sure.
And I'm from software outsourcing, so the projects are quite big. Their is very kind of long term, all that. And on that 10th anniversary, we kind of awarded each of the existing clients with some sort of award for whatever.
And your prospects saw them being,
So they were engaging, and this was the whole day event. So they started in the morning, like networking, all that, and there's a gala in the evening, and there's prizes and all that. Everybody get drunk, and like Yeah, so they didn't need to get.
Well, I bet you guys built a lot of pipeline out of that.
Yeah, it was really great, cause I mean, those 30 to 50 clients, the success rate on those was like, well, what you usually have, it was like 3 or 5 times more conversion than, but again, it was a lot of money, a lot of
Sure.
preparation.
Maybe you can't go all out like that every time.
But it's more.
But you can
yeah.
find ways to repeat
Absolutely.
that general concept on a
Yeah.
smaller scale more often.
So we're doing some breakfast right now also in the United States, which is kind of hard because it's a new country.
Yeah.
Not a lot of clients here, but you know, it's a whole journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Alright, last topic, converting pipeline to qualified pipeline. I will say this is more like sales 2.0, so this is like the teaser for the next module. I'm kidding. So, I'm gonna kind of narrate this, but what I'm showing you is a very like tried and tested sales methodology that a lot of very successful software companies use called command of the message. And it's a way to, once you've got the meeting, you did the hard part, right? It's a way to frame up the deal you're trying to sell in a way that really, really lands and goes back to the storytelling. And so how I would walk through this with my economic buyer, or just usually the executive who you're presenting this to after you've had 2 or 3 meetings with, you know, his team, the way I would talk about this is, hey, look, to just encapsulate the work we're doing with your team. So this is like real world use case where I've obfuscated the name of the company, but what we're working on with your team is a plan to really drive a huge quality of life improvement for your aircraft maintenance technicians. We're gonna deploy Web AI on a Mac server in the hangar and enable your team to interact with an AI co-pilot on their iPads that's intelligently trained on all of the aircraft maintenance manuals for the Boeing 737. And so what we've learned from your team in the first couple of meetings, we're gonna walk through what we learned today and why we think that's impacting the business, what the future looks like with Web AI, and how that's gonna positively impact you guys, and then most importantly, how we're gonna measure success when we're done, or when we're actually in production. And so first I would say, what we learned from your team is today the aircraft maintenance technicians do about 15 tasks a shift. Each task, they spend about 12 minutes digging through manuals and documentation, looking for part numbers, reference materials. It's cumbersome, it takes them a ton of time, and that adds up to about 15 hours per week that aircraft maintenance technicians are spending just looking for documentation in a folder somewhere. And so we also heard that you guys have rising flight volumes, you're paying your aircraft maintenance technicians more money, there's just more demand on the overall system, and people are starting to burn out, and your operational expenses are going up. And lastly, we heard that the veteran AMTs, you've got this huge 4,000 populations of technicians out there, most of whom are approaching retirement. And so there's a huge emphasis on hiring new aircraft maintenance technicians, but that places a huge burden on your veterans because they've got to spend a lot of their time coaching, onboarding, and training the new folks. And this is where you pause. Like a lot of people will just keep going, right? You stumble into the next thing, right? No, this is where you pause and you ask, did what I said just now resonate with you? What did I get wrong? Because you want them to start interjecting and correcting you and telling you, oh no, this is actually this. They actually do 20 tasks per shift and it doesn't actually take that long. And oh yeah, burnout is a huge problem for us. Like showing that you learned something about their business and then asking them to correct you is a great way to get additional information. And I would go through the future state, here's what we're gonna do. It's gonna save them a significant amount of time per task. You're gonna ease burnout and boost productivity because none of them wanna be digging through their iPad for parts, they wanna be fixing the plane. And this is gonna have them spending way more time fixing planes and way less time digging around for part numbers. And then lastly, your new guys are gonna be able to learn through the AI co-pilot instead of having to ask a veteran to help them every time they need support. And then measuring success. This is like where you really have to hammer, and you can be a little ambitious here, like, I don't know that these numbers are all true. I'm making assumptions, and that's okay, because you're early on in the deal, and the goal is, you put this out there to say, here's what we think we could do together, and how we're gonna measure success. Do you wanna go on this journey together and try to realize that outcome, right? Let's go save your AMTs 70% of that time you're spending, 15 hours per week. What does that equal in dollar savings? all of a sudden you're starting to build a business case, right? So I put this up here because like this for me is one of the most exciting things in sales, when you can build a narrative like this, walk someone through it, and then ask them to correct you to get feedback, and you learn a lot more information.
I have a question, two questions.
Sure.
How do you present it usually? Is it like a deck, you do PowerPoint or something?
Yeah, I'll do a deck saying like, hey, here's where we started with your team, what we've done with them so far. Here's what we are, this, and then this is early, right? This is like second or third slide, because you're like, here's what we've learned, why we think it matters, what we're gonna do to improve things, and how we're gonna measure success. And then you have dialogue.
Yeah. I saw lots of concepts like this. We use it ourselves.
Yeah.
The concept of as is to be sort of a thing. So we show them as is.
Yeah.
We learn things from their business. I have a hard time usually gathering lots of metrics that I use in presentation.
Sure.
Because we can definitely show them as is. We can definitely show conceptual to be, but there's no precise sort of, you know, like with our solution, or if you're gonna build this software, you're gonna increase blah blah blah. Because usually it's like you don't know that before you try, right?
Yeah.
So how do you solve that?
So firstly, like for example, these data points I got because I asked the question. And like the more you can ask these quantifiable questions up front, even if it's just a guess, it's their guess. But then when it comes to outcomes, right, you're faking it till you make it. You're putting it out there, you're saying, based on what we've done with our other customers, this is our expected result.
That's the key, based off previous experience.
Yep.
So, you know, to Alex's point, we're trying to quantify. So now we start talking sales 3.0, and we start talking about decision-making criteria. I know, so we're getting way up here now. But some of that is going to be the metrics. What are the decision-making criteria, but more importantly, what are the buying metrics? So for instance, you know, how do we get there? To Alex's point, you ask the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Of course you're gonna ask the questions and try to quantify exactly what that looks like. So for instance, if they're looking to save money, of course, we've got to take a look at that ROI. How are they gonna save money? How do they need to be more productive? Well, look at your technicians, look how much time they're spending right now. So we're gonna save you, what did you say, 70%, what was the?
70% of your time.
Exactly, I mean, time is extremely valuable, and once again, that's a buying metric. Is time that important to them? I should hope so.
Yeah.
You know, so there's, to answer your question, it's like, these are things you're gonna ask, and it is gonna be a little bit more of a challenge to then quantify, but it is gonna be based off of previous experience with different customers.
Yeah.
And then likely like, you're presenting this before you actually go into a pilot or a proof of concept, which is where you validate the claims you made up front.
Sure. I mean, I should have put you in context that probably if you're the product, you are more consistent with,
Yeah.
you know, the type of results you're providing. I'm working with a service type of thing, and new project, every new project is a completely different thing.
Snowflake, yeah.
You haven't built before.
Sure.
And this client, you have only so much time to learn about their domain and all that. So usually it's like we have no idea how it's gonna help, only by what they're claimed during our pre-sale sort of period.
Sure.
Right, so, and we only hope that that's gonna work.
Yeah, and I think too, that's like a whole nother discussion on that process and identifying, because what I was talking about is, you know, the buying metrics, the economic buyer, decision-making criteria. Now we're starting talking about sales methodology. So then we start talking about what is the sales organization looking for? What are the AEs looking for? Because now, based off the information y'all provided, the SDR team has provided, they're gonna collect that information, qualify, start going through and start building that case. It all starts here though. It all starts with that discovery. It all starts with the groundwork laid by the SDR. It's extremely important. But then to your point, yeah, then there's a whole nother concept behind that.
Yeah, absolutely, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, that's what we had. Who's got a random question about sales? Anybody that you're itching to ask?
I recently got cold inbound where I got, like, I guess I get a lot of cold inbounds and I do ignore them most of the time. But this girl offered me a free coffee gift card. So I was like, oh, I'll take the college because they do want a free coffee gift card. I'm a sucker for free things, $5, $10, I'll take it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that and I guess creative strategies of grabbing attention like that or otherwise?
Yeah, Alex talked about.
Yeah, I think
free lunch.
it's great. Free lunch, free
Unless they
coffee.
said unicorns in the end, that's fine.
It's a great way to break the noise, be a little bit different, offer some reward for someone's time and attention.
Yeah.
I think you can't pay everyone to talk to you, right, cause that doesn't scale, but like selectively, right, like I think it's great. It's a great tool to break the noise.
I've worked with companies too where we have targeted strategic accounts that we're gonna go after. And we've actually offered swag, whether it be just a 15-minute conversation, here's a sweatshirt, here's a Yeti, but once again, very strategic.
Yeah.
So that's the key. And sometimes also, depending upon that company's policy, sometimes they can't accept it. Yeah, so it's always gonna be dependent upon what that company's policy is as far as gifts. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, creativity is extremely important.
Well, part of, because you were talking about LinkedIn earlier, since you're in random question mode now.
Yeah.
What part of personal branding or creating a personal persona on LinkedIn about what you're posting about from interesting topics would you recommend to help bring, because like, how much of it is it about the company, how much of it is about just interesting things that might appeal to the people who are your prospects? Like, where does that land?
The way I think about it, it's all about impressions, right? And so before this person at iCapital connected with me, they probably didn't have anyone in their network who worked at Web AI and posted stuff about cool things Web AI is doing ever. And now, anytime we release a new blog or a white paper, anytime we're doing an event, anytime we have a new customer story, I'm sharing it, they're seeing that. So like their likelihood of engaging with us in the future is just going up and up and up because they're seeing the cool stuff we're doing. So I don't know if it's.
So I guess the question that I have then is, are you encouraging the entire team to be reposting all of those things?
It's all about impressions.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, repost, share, comment.
Yeah.
And you're gonna see that coming from marketing, you can see that coming from the ELT, you're gonna see, my CEO just gave a speech not too long ago, everyone's reposting, and they were putting videos up, and so yes, to your point though, it is not only your brand, but of course, it's your company's brand.
Right.
And so I am all for content, I'm all for putting great stuff out there, I need to do a better job of that myself, but certainly I have no hesitation to do that.
But I mean, it's still one of those imperatives that you're asking your team, and it's beneficial to them, but you're asking them to go into their personal space.
It's not required, okay,
It's
so,
not,
no, okay,
that's
so.
sort of what I'm asking about, like, how do you
It's-
build that within your team so that they know that this is beneficial to them?
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
100%, okay, so each company I've worked for has been a little bit different. I've had one company say, you have to put a banner, you have to put our banner on your background, and I've had reps come to me and say, that's my LinkedIn. And so I'm like, technically you don't. It would be beneficial, but once again, I can't force you to. It's like Facebook, I can't force you on Facebook or Instagram. So to your point, yes, it would be beneficial to you, but for me personally, I don't make it mandatory. I mean,
No, it's not mandatory,
Yeah.
but I'm in sales, and everyone in sales is in sales for one thing, it's to make money. You wanna make money, people need to know about your company. You want people to know about your company, you should probably share and post and like and comment, like, on your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So like, I guess I think about it that way.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I was thinking about this in a way of building your own kind of a image and your own brand first, because basically it's just my personal take, but people
Yeah.
are buying from me and my services, my consultancy,
Sure.
my kind of attitude towards those things, rather than the product that I'm selling,
Yeah.
the service that I'm selling.
Yeah.
They know that I can provide that service, but when they come to me, they say like, okay, I'll buy from you because you can be responsible for that service to be delivered to me.
Yeah.
So that's how, and then I realized that once I'm gonna be building my own brand instead of just putting banners every time I'm changing comments,
And I'm gonna agree 100, because the way I see social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Insta, Facebook, whatever it's gonna be, that is your decision. You choose how you want the world to see you. This is your choice. And I see people out there, and listen, it's you. You be you. And if you want to be known as a top salesperson or expert in this field or whatever it might be, that's completely up to you. Now, what I will say is also sometimes the company will come back and say, we actually, if you do post stuff out there that we don't approve of,
Yeah.
so that's always going to be at the discretion of the company as well.
No, of course.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, yes.
I really appreciate you guys sharing all this. I appreciate it. I have a question. Earlier you mentioned about stories, like you have to have your stories,
Yeah.
Email or cold call, whatever. So could you elaborate more on that? Like how would you make sure that your stories resonate with their demands?
Sure. So I would think about it this way, right? The first thing is, like we talked about, building an account thesis, having an opinion on what their problems are or challenges that they're trying to solve, how you can uniquely solve it. That's the first part of the story. So when you and I talk, it's not, hey, I work here, we do this, do you want to talk? It's, hey, I saw that you have these problems. Here's what we do that I think can uniquely solve those problems and why I think it would be interesting for you to talk to us. And then the next phase of it for me is, if you're representing your company, you've got to have at least 2 or 3 customer stories memorized. Oh, and here's where we did this with another customer. They were having this huge problem doing this, this, and this. We came in, we did X, Y, and Z, and here's the amazing outcome that they had. I'd love to talk about how we can do something similar with you. Customer stories are extremely powerful, and you should have at least a couple memorized, because when a customer hears, oh wait, that's our competitor, and you solved what problem for them? They're like, oh wow, now I'm interested. So like having a few good customer stories where problem statement, solution, amazing, beautiful vision of the future outcome that we help them realize. So that's kind of the story, right? Is here was the challenge that they were facing, the mission they had to go on. Here is kind of how they conquered the challenge, and then here was the beautiful ending where they had this great future. So think about it that way.
And ideally too, some sort of segment alignment. So if you have a great story about a healthcare solution that you provide to a previous customer, and you're talking to a healthcare company, absolutely. We same hospital in Denver, Colorado, we did this. Here was their issue, very similar to yours. Here's what we did, and here was the solution, and here was the outcome. And a lot of times too, a lot of the prospects, they don't care, so this is my experience, it's not necessarily the how. They really don't care how you do it. They just want that result. The analogy I always give, a great book called The Qualified Sales Leader, it's about MedPick. So MedPick is a sales methodology that I utilize. I use that, my team, I train my team on that. But the point being is, the author was saying basically, the customer, if they want to put up a painting or a frame painting on the wall, they don't care that you're selling a screwdriver, they don't care about the torque, they don't care about the measurements, they don't care anything about that screwdriver. They just want to put a painting on the wall. That's all they care about.
They don't want to get into technology.
Of course, when you talk to the audience, you talk to IT, yes, of course, it's going to be there, but initially it's going to be, I have a problem, and I just need a solution.
Yeah.
Just get me to this, get me to point B. I say ideal state. Current state versus ideal state. This is my ideal state.
Makes sense.
So.
Dear friends, we have, I'm sorry, the last one question now, because we have 20 minutes for last speaker, and then we will ask question like last session, okay? Like a few questions after.
I think she had a question. She's been asking for, raising her hand for a minute.
No, it doesn't mean that you don't need to ask a question, so please, we will ask the questions about everybody of the finish, the last one, and after this, we will ask question after the third speaker, okay? The last one, yeah.
Yes. I was just wondering if you had advice about navigating, like how to ask about your customer's budget when you're trying to qualify, like whether or not this would be a potential to move forward. Does that make sense?
So there are different ways to have a qualified sales lead. I know if you are familiar with BANT, budget authority, need, and timeline, there are different variations. We use something a little bit different. My personal feelings on budget, it just depends on the need. For instance, if you identify a need that is so powerful and so impactful, budget is going to be ancillary. So for me, that's my personal opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, you're talking to a smaller company, and it's a very, they have 2 headcount, and it's like we have a $10 budget, so obviously. But my personal perspective is, yes, it'd be great if actually this is a top priority. This is something we have allocated for FY, the second half of FY25, and we're ready to go. So if it was that crystal clear, wonderful. But for me, as a necessity, I don't necessarily need a budget.
Best,
You may be different.
best practice, you find the pain and you understand how big the pain is before you talk pricing. But for me, I would say, don't be afraid to have the conversation. You should just eliminate all feelings of fear when it comes to asking about money, because that's what it is. You're trying to exchange a product or a service for money. So I would ask a question like, hey, is this something you budgeted for? Have you budgeted for this? And then when you're putting a number in front of someone, just do it without fear. Like, put a number that you think is 20 or 30% above where you want it to land, and just say, this is how much it costs. I'm curious, what are your thoughts? And just open it up and wait for their reaction. Because you can always say, after you've shared that pricing, hey look, we're a Series A company, right? We view you as a potential design partner. We want you to help build this thing with us. And we want to work with you to find the pricing and budget that makes sense for you all, and that allows us to establish a really amazing partnership together. So you didn't need to say any of that before you show the number. Show the number and wait.
Yeah, it shouldn't prevent you. Absolutely, it should not prevent you. Ask budget, ask if it's there, but it shouldn't prevent you from moving forward. That's my response.
Cool.
Thank you.
I think that's it for us.
Yeah.
What is interesting, because every time when we invite different speakers, it's always like to listen different times about one topic. So we will listen another one maybe tell us about this.
From my experience, this example with code is huge. Maybe a show because it's hard, and improvisation is hard. When you show this for different guys who are in the sales, I prepared a few slides to share the additional view to the problem, because if we speak about cold calls, Alex talked about bad experience, and that maybe nobody enjoy the cold calls, and usually you have some moments in your life when you have this experience when you like this call because you have success, but then you have maybe some gap with time when you maybe not enjoy this work, and you're thinking about, okay, maybe I need to change my work, maybe I need to work in different ways, why I choose this job. And because I work in cold calls maybe two years, and I start from this. But in one moment you start thinking about, okay, so why I'm here? But I shortly tell you about myself. So we have 2 businesses, but most of the focus, and maybe 100% time, I focused on Big Sister. And we are a portfolio company of Capital Factory. Capital Factory sponsors this event, and we try to share different problems around the sales, but Big Sister focused on super simple problem. And it was my question, but you said don't give me the chance to ask Alex, so maybe I ask it later. But what we do, we go to the company and work with pipeline. So after lead generation, after outreach, when you need to work with a customer, we connect to all channels like calls, emails, CRM, video calls, listen everything with AI, record it, analyze it, and it works like you have playbook. In this playbook you have main rules which you need to do or not to do, like with Saturday calls for the customers, and we show how those people follow these important rules in real time and give them advice what they need to improve. But this is like a product, but what I think it will be great, it's I made it today because in the morning I said, oh, it will be great to show this reference, this metaphor, because sometimes when we speak with some of my customers or my team, or I try to choose this is right script or not, I can do this with customers or not. I use reference, can I do this in my real life? Because sometimes we play a role and say, oh, it's like I am sales rep, I can do everything, because it's just only customers, I have a lot of them, but I cannot repeat the same with my friends, with my real life. So I ask Gemini to use all best practices for cold calls and make the script when for dating. When boy go to the girl and use all scripts, all standards from this one. So I hope it works.
Hello?
Hi, is this Sarah?
Yes, this is she. Who's calling?
Great. Sarah, this is Mark calling. Mark, well, just Mark. You don't know me, but I've been doing some proactive outreach in your demographic, and your name came up as a high potential lead.
Lead? For what? I'm not sure I understand.
Right to it. I like that. Look, Sarah, I'm on a bit of a tight schedule, targeting key individuals for a unique, time-sensitive opportunity. Based on my market research, let's just say I saw your picture on a friend of a friend's social media. You fit the ideal customer profile.
Ideal customer profile for what exactly, Mark?
For immediate, no strings attached, mutually beneficial physical intimacy. I've got an opening in my schedule tonight, 8 p.m., my place. We can skip the lengthy sales cycle of dinner and a movie and get straight to the core deliverables. What do you say? It's a Q2 special.
Are you actually serious? You called me, a complete stranger, to propose that? Like it's a business transaction?
Well, in a way. Think of the efficiency. Minimal investment, maximum return on engagement. So, are you in? I can pencil you in. First come, first served.
Absolutely not. This is ridiculous and frankly disgusting. Lose my number.
Okay. Tough crowd. Maybe I should have offered a free trial or a discount on the Q3 package. Next.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes probably I spent for this, so I just want to make the script and put it on Google Studio. But it's very nice to see the standard in the sales calls when you understand that it's not maybe okay if I try to repeat it in any cases in my life. It's not only for dating. When we use some rules in our mind, it can work for all our routine maybe conversation around. So if you have some scripts or words in your mind on the work, you start using the same in your life, and the same approach if you talk with your friends in some way, you start to repeat some part of this with your work. So the problem which I try to show that cold calls can be give you bad feeling, bad experience, but that's okay, and we need to have two ways to fix it. So first of all, we can use some approach to make these calls more warmer, and I show you how we do that. And the second one, we can use different activities around, but Alex showed the case with community, and it's probably the best way. But what the next I thought I need to show you, and I prepared this. I make some investigation and ask AI, okay, for example, I hate cold calls. I don't use cold calls probably last 10 years in my life at all in all my companies. And I try to fix, okay, how I can handle this without cold calls. It's not the right way, it's way from myself, so I try to do something where I feel my confidence better, but so it's not the best practice for everyone or for you, but I made it and it works, but it's so hard, so you need to do a lot of homework before any calls, before any work. But first of all, ask AI and we'll find which customers, after the event, maybe we'll send you this text, because a lot of text you cannot read today, so but I don't want to read your text this today. as well. But I asked AI about what type of companies don't need to have cold calls like the main channel. And first of all, it's like businesses with a strong inbound. And we have a lot of customers who don't have any, not like only cold calls, outbound calls, and it's okay for some industries again. Referral driven local services, and it's like about some small companies mostly. High trust professional services. It's the best example is lawyer firms, because if you try call and say, oh, we are the best legal team in the city, let's start talking about this, it doesn't work, so you need to have some trust in this way, so it doesn't work for them as well. Highly niche or industrial sales, so again, it's if you need to sell for huge enterprise company, like some manufacturer, for example, and you're selling something super niche, you probably need to find a lot of different introduction to right guy, because you don't have a lot of shots. Maybe the last thing is like service-driven, proactive consumer. When consumer try to find it, best maybe example is like with different like services for home, when you need to cleaning or something, so repairing for your home. So you go in Facebook, you go in different platforms and try to find it. But again, it's like in general, so it's not for all. So, but probably 80% companies in the US, they use cold calls, so that's okay, and we can make this more warmer. So what we use, we have, I show you a few workflows which we use from our side, and again, we send it after the event, and you can try to use it for yourself. So first workflow, how I can understand these stories about customers, because if I need to have cases, I need to show and share what why my customer choose us, how they use it, and use this experience for myself, and then use it for some basic recommendation, because sometimes our customers recommend us different potential customers as well. We use super simple question. We ask customers why they choose us, and we use three maybe moments, 3 points when we ask about this. First of all, when customers say, I need to think and about your offer. So you offer, you propose, you send some offer and proposal for customer, and customer say, okay, I got it, I need some time, I need to talk with my team, so give me like 1 week and I return. And before this, you need to ask, okay, why but from focus, what do you like right now? What do you prefer in our offer? So what part of the offer do you think it can be valuable for you and for your team? And so you resume these values in this point, and then when customer starts talking with team, with someone else, he has some arguments in the mind, and he can use it, or she can use it. The next one is when customers say yes. And I like this moment maybe the bigger than others, because if customers say, okay, let's sign the contract and give me the invoice, you say, well, stop. Why? So why you choose us? You told me about different companies who has better price, who has better experience. You push me with these cases. So why you choose in final way us? And it's hard, but if you ask this for customers, you can receive a lot of different values, and the biggest maybe value from all of this stuff, customer which buy you 100% don't understand why they did it, and you don't understand as well. So if I ask you why this customer buy your product, you don't, so I don't believe you any answer if you don't ask this for customers. So try, and it's funny. It's sort of funny, like if you ask your mom or your friends, so tell me what I do and tell me how you see my job. They tell you so different answer. Yeah, so the same with customers. So if you answer them, they know the right answer. They can use this for a different recommendation. And the next thing, we work with ICP. So maybe I don't have a lot of time to explain so deep this methodology, but the idea is so simple. If you start not from scratch, so you have some customers for the company, for example, and you can bring all these customers in one place, like some Google spreadsheet, for example, in first row, and start explain. So who is this customer? So what's the type of this customer? It's like SMB, construction company, or something. So you use like a target type. And the second one is like customer. Then you try to explain what they bought. So what you sell them. So what the service or the product, how you can explain this in short way. And then you can put this why. So these pains, because why it's about pains. And pains we're using from first side. So when customer can explain you how they feel with this problem, and you can put this this place. And when you have, for example, 10 different cases, 10 different customers, you can put all of these numbers and all this data without guessing. Maybe it's like some better hypothesis than if you guess from just on a Google search. Now you go to the second step, niche, and put what in first row what like some type of products which you sell. For example, you sell 3 types of services, and try to explain the customers. And for example, I just explain one example. You sell CRM for customer, like AI, yeah, and you sell AI service for construction SMB, and in pains you can explain why they bought it. And the last unique product, when you choose all of this stuff and explain in one place. So what's the unique product? Unique product, it's like AI for SMB construction companies, because they need to fix this and this pain. And it's so like small niche, and it helps you to find better target and prepare all these playbooks, templates as well. And the last thing is so simple. If you have list of customers, type of customers like ICP formats, we recommend to use partners list. It's someone who can be like complementary for you with the same service, with the same market, who know your customer, who sell your customer or buy from your customer something. And so they can make some intro for them, because if you start selling in OStin and you sell for construction companies, but you have friends who work in a company who sell for these construction companies different service, probably they have some contacts and they can give you these contacts very easy, and it's help you to start not from cold calls, not from cold outreach, from introduction, and then start building this network, talking with them. And the last thing, it's about how to ask recommendation, because usually we don't know how to ask in the right way recommendation. Maybe the most common question, do you know someone who needs this one? So we're talking about us, we're talking about our product, and we delegate all decision for humans like talking with us and say, okay, can you help me? Do you know some customers? But again, it's huge homework which we need to do before we asking about the next step and before asking about recommendation. So what we recommend to do? So first of all, ask intro and use name for some direct people, or name for the companies, because you know that you need to have this company. Or the last thing, you can ask about customer profile. So if you understand that your customer profile is, for example, construction SMB, you can ask, okay, do you know someone's company construction SMB in OStin or not? and because you work in this industry and you can receive this feedback. And if, for example, your you know, for example, customer or partner say, yes, I know one company, you can ask, okay, can you make introduction with, for them? And it's easier. So next step, you can make this introduction when you call or send some message for this customer. Say, this guy recommended me to talk with you, so I want to make some call, where to schedule the call. It's one way. And the second, when you send email for this guy who promised to make the introduction, it's for intro for you, and say, okay, I want to talk with this guy because I think it can be valuable for him, and short about us, we a company who work in this space and do this stuff, so let's schedule the call if this can be interesting for them. And then I send this email for the guy who say, okay, I make the intro, and he can send this intro for the potential customer. And I put the link to the article from Josh Barr from Capital Factory. It's maybe the best article about this template from introduction. And the last thing about rules. So maybe the most important thing, describe your customer more concise and more clearly than you can. So the best format is name company or name of the person. But if you don't know this person's names, use ICP, short ICP for the introduction. Second one, talk about them, not you. It's a huge problem. We every time we try to explain what we do and why we think it can be super helpful for everyone. But who cares about this? You need to talk about customer. So they work in construction, they use AI. I want to talk about their experience. I want to make the call and talk about them, not about us. And if you don't talk about you, it's more easy to make introduction, because I understand that you don't start like make a lot of different actions, maybe like not 10 steps, not a lot of calls, because you are a normal guy. You're just only talking with me, and you say that you want to talk about the customer. The next moment, don't sell by phone the product. So during the first call, don't try to sell. And if you receive the call from introduction or meeting from introduction, don't spend this time for offering something. Just focus most on briefing, on question, talking about customer, because this is intro for this. Yeah, you need to understand the problem, and it works better in my experience every time. And the last thing, get the right to refer to the recommender. It's like what's mean that you need to ask to use name recommender when you start talking with next guy, because sometimes usually some event organizations, they say, oh, I give you Google spreadsheet with 200 different guys, and you can call them, but don't tell them that I give you all these phone numbers. I don't like this approach. Better for me to receive 3 guys, but I can say, oh, okay, I call you, but your contact gave me this guy, and it's much better. And resume, I think that cold calls, it's hard, and we need to like cares about ourselves. We need to make it more warmer. We need to build network, because my best probably experience when I grew up in my career, then I understand and realize that my bosses, when I start working in new companies, they don't make cold calls, but they sell more than me, and I don't understand why. So why they say me, well, the main channel and the main algorithm, what you need to do, you need to make 100 calls, 50 calls per day, for example, but they do nothing. Like they do 0 cold calls, and sell more. And I try to use their experience. They use network. They grow in their like LinkedIn. They grow in their community stuff around. They make some articles. So try to be valuable, and this experience works for myself. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we had questions. Yeah, we had questions. I remember you asked questions. You wanted to ask questions for guys.
I just had a quick question. When you have if there's multiple decision makers that you see you can contact, do you send emails to multiple? Do you start the outreach sequence to multiple people, or do you start with one?
No.
And exhaust it with the next one? Okay. So if you're reaching out to the CEO and the CIO, okay.
Just go for it.
Okay.
One thing I would recommend too, without a doubt, but make sure that targeted, once again, the audience, CFO is gonna have different needs than CTO versus CEO. So absolutely. I mean,
Tailor your pitch to the persona, but no need to go one by one.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a question regarding to that. So we also have sequences.
Sure.
And we've done it automated on the CRM.
Yeah.
And with the different touch points. So some will be just a reminder to make a phone call or link to a request, or it will be actual emails where we share information. But in order to improve that, I know that personalization will be the best way, right? So I'm just trying to understand what's the right balance between automation and personalization. Because to your point, I could go on one, find the exact, things that they have daily, like
you can't spend a whole day.
Yeah, I can do a perfect email there, or just have a.
What I would do then is you focus your personalization on the first touch. That first touch is very personalized, highly relevant. You put some research in, you were very thoughtful, and then you can automate touch 2, 3, and 4, which are, hey, I know this might have gotten lost in the shuffle over the weekend. You had a chance to take a look at what I sent over, like the bumps, right? Like you can automate a lot of the second, and then they're like, oh, what were they talking to me about? And then they scroll back up to the more personalized.
So in that sense, what you did there with the AI, like to research the web and whatever, to get some points and whatever research you did on their own personal LinkedIn, for instance, you still research that person to add it to that list of that sequence, right? So in that moment that you're adding, maybe you draft that first email, so you're saying like, take some time on that first time that you're adding, and then just let the sequence kind of follow.
I think that would be my best practice.
Okay.
Do a manual email first, then
automate.
I mean, you'll have some type of template, but my point is manual email in the sense that you actually want to go there and change a few things and make a few tweaks.
Then like the touch 2, 3, 4 can be automated. Maybe, hey, we just released this paper. I thought it would be super relevant for you. Check it out. No ask. And it's on the same chain, so then they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, this was interesting. What were these guys talking about? They'll go back up to the thing you put time into.
Okay.
That's an idea to try.
Yeah.
I hope it works.
The first one especially, that makes sense. Thank you.
Do we have more questions? No? Okay.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Alex.
much.
Thank you.
Let's do the photo, the last one, I propose to do it here. And maybe I will ask Elijah. Oh, Elijah will come to us. So, come here, please. Well, can you turn on the music, please? All right.
Good.
Okay, let's do the quarters. And closer. Smile, closer. It's a lot, closer. Elijah can come to us if he say I will. Okay. One moment, please. One moment, please.
Awkwardly close.
He's coming. I will try to see how it's appropriate. No, it's too much. closer, and this way, Oh yeah, this is bad. Oh yeah. One moment, please. Sorry about the back. And I will move it for a few Elijah. Okay, I will maybe do this thing.
I think it's.
Smile.
There he is.
Elijah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
God,
much.
of course, of
Yeah,
course.
maybe.
Jordan, ready? Alright, here we go. Alright, let me know what you think.
Let's
Thank
you.
Awesome, we're happy, sir. I appreciate it. Let me know. Keep doing this. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
That was an hour for me to come over.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay,
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, whatever y'all need, and LinkedIn too, so Jeffrey Ohas, so everyone LinkedIn. Absolutely. Thanks, Lucy.
I love that. I honestly think he had an amazing job.
Please,
I'm
my pleasure.
not gonna lie.
Have you met him?
Yeah, I introduced myself
Perfect.
when I went to
You
go
know,
set everything up.
One of my favorite coworkers.
Super. Oh, she's a badass too. She's incredible. Very good. Yeah, I'm sure like everything went well. Super. Awesome. Well, it's great to meet you.
Alex, honestly, if you ever want to do any kind of events with AI, you are the best guy to
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're the best there, yeah.
Alex, we want to do the
Now
corner.
let's see our minutes.
So let's do the corner. Yeah. Wow.
What photo?
Let's do the last one corner.
Sorry. No, I think it's just for the speakers. It's so inclusive. You want pizza?
It's fine. It has my cell phone on it, so if you miss it, text me and say,
Wonderful.
this is who I am and where we met.
Oh, amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. Even though
You're welcome.
but you're very you'll like some
My whole point is
yeah, it was so great to meet you.
Oh, yeah, who is it? Wow, what's going on?
Yeah, have a good night.
whatever, and as good or as bad as it went, the point was like, you just have to try it.
Because we talked with Alex before the event, whole presentation about practice.
You just like
So it's like about practice, so it's not like some theoretic deck, yeah. And then it was so cool because you just want to talk about how you need to do this call.
I honestly never really
Sorry about this.
I feel like you're very
glad we made
I think something I really
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Sorry about this, I forgot.
It's all good, thank you.
Alright. Yeah, good night.
So like, that's your parent.
Maybe you're all the best in your own jobs.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's exciting. Very
Something
exciting.
really good.
QR code on here.
So it's right up here. Just get started. Just click on that.
They have a whole menu of and they're like cauliflower strips, cauliflower things to be mixed with some chicken. And
Alright.
Alright.
Once again, thanks so much. It's very nice to meet you. Good to see you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, very welcome.
Very nice to meet you.
Bye.
Alex.
Bye-bye.
I will see you at home.
What?
Are you coming?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Let's eat the pizza. Yeah, we will clean it now.
No, you're fine. No, yeah, don't.
Я зараз на роботі.
We have pizza.
Що?
It's one of the first one. When we have pizza. Do you want it's different? Do you want another one?
Yeah, that's great.
It's all different. How do you put it?
I love that. Yeah. Give the people the variety, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, we had a lot of registrations, but people come not nice. So it's maybe.
I think I've like kind of learned, I guess, like this is the first time I'm kind of experiencing it, where like the summer numbers kind of go down a bit. Because people are probably on vacation or their kids are out of school, so they're doing different things.
Why? I get it, but I don't understand why in June Capital Factory have so many different events.
Yeah, big
I
events.
know.
Yeah, so but again, it's like vacation, summer. So
Yeah,
why?
it's so weird.
It's the cornerstone. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Like especially for June, because they have Hell Supernova,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
following week they have Defense Academy, and then the week after that is DreamCon.
So do you think a lot of people from defense will stay in Austin in summer?
They don't have location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, the thing about like, there's no
reason.
there's no kind of verified, like, I don't know, every single month fluctuates with attendance. I haven't come across like a month where it's been consistent or anything.
So I mean, like running, it's not like the part of this event, so you can choose the right month for event here. So
Right.
it depends.
Well, it's because they don't let me know until like a month before they were having
Okay.
it a lot of the time, because like a lot of that comes like, that's not my department for them to decide like when they're choosing a date, because like we were trying to do it July 10th, right?
I
For
remember,
the
yeah.
100
I forgot to say
Texas
about
100 thing,
Yeah.
and I don't even know if they're doing that anymore. They told me no, like 2 weeks ago, and now it's like, but I'm not, I guess, like in that kind of category yet at all to kind of like make decisions or kind of like voice my opinion, I guess, if that makes sense.
Maybe, like in, or I hear that in Austin City Olympics, no, not Austin City, what is this big conference on spring?
South by?
Yes, yeah. I hear that they have like troubles with people about all this, about Palestine and so on. And that's why the Capital Factory say like a lot of defense events will be in Capital Factory. Maybe they have something like this with the city or something like this in June too.
Right.
That's why they decided to do this for defense. Because it's defense, it's not something like
Right.
IT or so on.
Well, I guess Defense Academy is only like for 2 days though. I guess like Health Supernova is the one that kind of took over everything, because like that's gonna be like a cornerstone event, and then DreamCon is just like an internal event.
It's only the second time, yeah, the Pet Supernova. And Pet Supernova.
Well, I guess it's like so this one's gonna be Health Supernova. I think
Health,
Pet
yeah,
Supernova is
for
gonna
you.
be in August. Yeah.
It's Health Supernova will be first time.
Yes. The first time in Austin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So they used to have it in Dallas, but
Okay.
now they like changed it.
Oh, why?
I'm actually not sure.
I think that for Dallas it's more available, no?
Right. No, I think so too, because there's like more. I guess Houston's more associated with it,
Yeah.
but also they have.
Houston one, yeah, but it's like different. I think they try to like provocate different location, yeah. So I know they do some stuff in Houston, and Houston is maybe number one in Texas for health, but maybe they need
Cause I think it's like Southwestern, right?
Yeah.
Southwestern University is like a great.
Bro, do you know about Health Supernova?
I registered myself, but still, I think it will be the first time, so I'm not aware what should I prepare for it, but still.
I don't know
Health.
either. Yeah, it's like the first time.
Health.
I represent the kind of startup in healthcare logistics of patients traveling to the clinical trials and as well for reimbursement. So I don't see any match at the moment.
You don't think so?
Yes.
But your clients is companies who work with house, like, house companies.
Yeah.
So I think that there could be.
But it's like huge, I think it's like great discovery for listen some session, to focus on analyzing, to understand it, how you can.
I have nothing to offer yet at the moment.
But that's the point of it, right?
Yeah.
To network and to figure out
Yeah.
that you can like benefit from each other as well. So.
I will put some more. What? It's 2 last pieces.
No, you can that's all you.
Thank you.
I will. I want to.
Okay, sorry, I need to go finish the report real quick.
Yeah,
but I'll
we
be-
will.
Yeah, no worries.
Clean now,
You're all
yeah.
good. You're all good.
Thank you.
Я намагаюся вам переслати фотографії, і я вже кликаю двічі на тебе. Accept. А ну, ти сам поставив. Ти сам поставив, здається, а може це я поставив?
Ну, да.
Можу передивитися в контактах, ну, ще візьми
Може,
airdrop.
ноут.
Я на ноут можу кидати. Дійсно.
Да, точно на ноут.
А, точно, я бачила, що там приходила.
Ну і там просто багато є всі, що класи. Я слайди класів, я всі вам звалюю, там просто слайди з людьми. Коли він щось там таке красиво розповідає, то може воно і...
Так, супер, дякую тобі.
Окей.
Да, дякую, що пофоткав. Я теж типу пофоткав, ну щось мене не йшло.
Я запізнився із-за того, що треба було перевдягнутися після зубного. І я думав, що я приїду вже у вас буде все в розпачі.
Слухай, на сьогодні 60 реєстрацій, це дуже багато. І прийшло 25 людей, чи 27 десь. Так. І це небагато, ну насправді, повинно було більше. Я не знаю, чому така погана явка. Я так підозрюю, що це із-за літа. Ну, типа, сьогодні останній день школи.
Ну, це нормально, зараз дуже багато людей, от тим більше там, от я по собі навіть скажу, можу зареєструватися на 2-3 роки, не жоден з них передивляється. Ну, типу, літо, травень, зараз там діти.
Я просто думаю, що наступний вам треба, ми його зареєстрували на July 10, мені здається. Ви подивитесь, може, якщо буде погана реєстрація, то може тоді, знову.
Та не треба відміняти, треба пушити, брати кращих спікерів ще там далі. Ну, тобто не кращих в плані, що зараз змагання, до того, що типу, експериментувати новий драйвер день. Я проти щось відміняти.
Ну, якщо воно вам, в принципі, коштує пару копійок, це просто це crime відміняти.
Так, я погоджуюсь. Ні, в мене вже є зараз ідея, то з наступного разу ти, коротше, офіційно будеш модератором.
Я просто бачила, що вже, знаєш, люди йдуть, і я розумію, що, якби літо, такі, ой, мені треба
не нормально, але, типу, навпаки, йшла дискусія, до того, що, типа, сьогодні ти мене взагалі всю роль в усіх моментах.
Вибач, я просто дивилась на час.
Ні, воно непогано, я до того, що, типу, так будь модератором.
Добре, я буду модератором.
А я буду десь там реалізати, десь краще там.
Краще англійська стала, ніж у Валі.
Зато в мене словарний запас більший.
Чомусь, може там в технічних деталях може ти краще, але от в такому fluent English, такий, як introduction і так далі, от ти співаєш.
Ну клас, слухай, я просто, я як Єва, знаєш, я за ними повторюю слова. Легше може просто це виходити. Насправді у Валіка набагато більший словарний запас. От я, коли намагаюся особливо по робочим питанням, що
він приховує.
Ні, він не приховує. Він добре знає.
Окей, добре.
Що, будемо їхати?
Так. GT event сьогодні був?
Я не знаю, вони мені тоді писали запрошення, він там його не бачив. Тому я написав, що я не можу там щось може там скинути.
Що за UT event?
Вона просто студенти мали там зібратися.
Студенти збираються, так. Я ж підглядаю, як ви тут прогресуєте, і думаю, як під вас мімікрувати, щоб той неспад був схожий на вас, і щоб на нього налити як технології, так і інвестори. І щоб мімікрію правильно зробити, треба знати, де стартапи бувають. Мало того, можуть бути схожі стартапи, можуть бути люди, які зацікавляться в великій компанії зробити із Netflix International якби оцей стартап історію. Тому що я бачу, що мої партнери в Європі, вони скорше за все схильні корпорації розвивати, а не стартап. Щоб тут розвинутися, щоб реально був меч, щоб тут був такий перший поштовх і драйв, треба, принаймні, мімікрувати під стартап. І ми думали з Валіком, що моя компанія може бути SaaS, якщо дуже постаратися. Але я просто, я не дуже інженер. Тобто софтвер.
Ми теж не інженери. Їх можна міняти.
Ну, от є.
Їм часто треба інженери, в основному, чому також? Тому що на перших етапах ти повинен до якоїсь, вижити з продукту. І навряд чи у тебе буде гроші, щоб кліпати з наймитими людьми. Єдине, що, наприклад, те, що ми бачимо із проблемної такої моменту, от у нас там була найнята команда, все-таки це чужа команда, це трошки важко. Тобто ми їх і якби звірляли, і все, і от поки зараз ми відходимо, вони нам повністю все передають, і як тільки у нас буде внутрішній девелопер, просто простіше набагато внутрішня комунікація. Ні, насправді там же ж продукт вже готовий, там поки що одного там вистачає, настоящих є.
Я просто пам'ятаю, що от та сама Домінопіца, щоб там зробити свою апку, і вони 700 людей тримали, і вони і досі ще тримають сотні людей на розробників.
Нічого грошей.
Є гроші, є типу.
Ну так, так от дивись, це класний шлях. Ти береш Домінопіцу, нормальний існуючий бізнес, щоб його помножити на тисячі франчайзингів, бо вони ж франчайзинг. Тобі треба найняти 700 розробників, розробити софту, розробити франшизу і пішло.
Це як один з ways. One of the ways.
Я так думаю, що у мене була спроба, я продав 2 ліцензії ще в 2006-му. В Львів, франчайзинг. В Львів і в Дніпропетровськ. І обидві були провальні. Тому я на цьому зупинився. Але це фантастичний шлях. Якщо в тебе випробований вже прибутковий бізнес, і він такий, що він саме географічно може вписатися, і ніхто не буде його саме обслуговувати в якусь територію, і ніхто не буде зазіхати на неї, то ти спираєшся на купу народу, потім у тебе така зграя цих послідовників, вони самі починають варитися в своєму цеху і починають поліпшувати твій продукт. Особливо вони ж не церемоняться тобі сказати, я заплатив тобі внесок, давай. Отут і тут не працює. І ти вже формуєш цілу систему.
Ви просто по франчайзингу, я не знаю, ти бачиш взагалі наш шлях по франчайзингу?
Ні, софт він не може бути, напевно. Хоча може,
це інше, мабуть, якось.
Може гібридна якась модель. Тут не по франчайзингу, а так як вас зараз намагається наняти Terrasoft через дилерство чи щось таке.
Партнершип,
так. Він більш релевантний для вас.
Я думаю, знаєш, ми могли, в свій час клейкати по франшизі, можливо, довести цей бізнес до такого цього.
Ти маєш на увазі розкрутити його через ваші?
Ні, у нас же був Creators, який ми закрили перед тим, я його управляла якраз 5 років перед тим, як. Це був сервіс продажу первинної нерухомості. І це не був той бізнес, який ти можеш мультиплікувати чи управляти ним, наприклад, звідти. Тому що він зв'язаний на забудовників, а забудовників це дуже така персоналізована історія. Тобто для того, щоб його відкрити, наприклад, в іншому місті, тобі треба там такі коннекшени з місцевими забудовниками, того будують, одного там, особливо в ринку українського. В Штатах ще це було простіше, бо у них інші закони. Тут закони інші, тобто тут будь-який ріелтор може продати будь-якого забудовника і отримати від цього процент. А у нас це зовсім інша історія, абсолютно, тобто там, я до того, що можливо там це могло б бути історію, але це теж, ну я не знаю, я до франшизи відношуся дуже так специфічно, тому що я розумію, що це класна може бути існуюча модель, але тут треба дивитись, от куди вона ляже. Ну там, Галю Баловну відкривають по франшизі, хоча теж, ну да, там, типа, зараз жаліються на, ну, постійно жалоби на ці якість, ну там, і так далі. Ну це просто такий масштабований бізнес ти можеш відкрити, а коли тебе десь щось пов'язано в якомусь сервісі, ну там, як люди це роблять, тут починається, мені здається, найбільші проблеми.
Так, Галя Баловна, це ж сервіс фактично, всюди є продукти. Просто ти технологію пхаєш і навчаєш персонал.
Ну ти просто технологію масштабуєш, просто.
Ну да.
Ну тобто там не є сервіс, а де там сервісна складова? Де там навчання людей?
Я просто не знаю бізнес-моделі, тому що, щоб розповсюдити, ну, нормальні по району, серед кого вони розповсюдують? Серед українців, тобто. А так зробити, щоб мексиканці пішли на це?
Ну так, це типа українські. Ні, ну вони там на Польщу, знаєш, тобто, ну там славян, грубо кажучи, хто буде це їсти. Ну тобто це просто продукти там правильно продані. Тобто тобі, грубо кажучи, ти масштабуєш технологію, яку ти, а це масштабовано.
Ну зараз в сучасній економіці важлива не технологія, а спосіб продажу. І, до речі, я їхав в таксі з своїми дівчатками, і таксист каже: "Ой, ви з України, скажіть український ресторан". Я так думаю, і вони так: "Ой, ми знаємо про Галю Баловну у нас в OStin". Ну, чи якісь вареники, я не пам'ятаю. Галя Баловна?
Ні, мені здається, щось писали.
Якісь такі вареники у нас.
Польський якийсь там ресторан.
Ну і...
таке, не знаю.
Коротше, є потреба, є ніша. Ну, навіть у хлопця. Ну, він не таксист був, він був із Lifetime цей джим. Він підробляє тим, що на Україні. Я здивувався, що він. Окей, добре. Я отримав чергове задоволення. Якщо будете, ну тут була така історія, що треба клієнтів опитувати, якщо ви змішаєте бленд.
Я про тебе подумав.
Так, в цей момент подумав, ось він.
Ти ж мені казав,
ну да.
Типа, дай мені поговорити.
Піднімай мене і кажи, оце от.
А що, скажи, що
ну, як ти можеш довести, що твій продукт класно працює? Тільки якщо ти мене підкупиш.
Ага.
От, ну, ти її піднімеш при всіх і скажеш, оце от. Да. І я повинен буду сказати, якщо ти хочеш, щоб я так зробив, ми з тобою повинні узгодити скрипт. Я невеличкий пару фраз вивчусь на своїй невеликій мові.
Прикольна тема.
Ну так.
Щось ти цей критично дуже.
Чого ти, нормально ти розмовляєш, ну типу.
Українською є дуже гарно.
Українською дуже гарно, і англійською нормально.
Після 14-му році вже.
Ну круто, українська. І англійська нормальна, ну тобто нема такого, о боже,
ні,
нічого не
вона трохи, в мене просто готова ще туди-сюди, а от спеціальні терміни, як ви починаєте тут про сейлс історії абревіатурами розмовляти, я кожного разу пітнію. Я не знаю про що.
Я думаю, що ти не один такий. Бо якраз хлопці розмовляли багато про це, і люди не розуміли. Ну, я думаю, що багато хто не розумів, бо дуже ж різні ще й, знаєш, стадії розвитку бізнесу є.
Ні, ну і не всі використовують там якісь методологічні. Я просто коли призу крутив сьогодні, я прям максимально не завжди правильні, але максимально такі тупі слова. Це в табличках не переписував, там customer name, ще щось, щоб вже так прямо железобетонно було. Ці what, why, ну типа, щоб вже от прям, типа.
Ну да.
Бо це питання не мови навіть, це питання термінології. Ну, типа, у нас багато, я пам'ятаю, ми коли в продажах тоді вчили, основний вектор був в тому, що ти маєш спілкуватися з зрозумілою мовою. Максимально всі термінологічні речі ти маєш уникати і використовувати їх тільки у відповідь. Ну, якщо типу, клієнт використовує, тоді ти можеш йому там цим відповідати. Але бажано говорити максимально просто.
Зрозуміло.
Людською мовою.
Так, я погоджуюсь.
А як тобі взагалі формат? Це просто хлопці самі вирішили, що вони вдвох будуть працювати?
Якщо б ви трохи перейшли ближче до невеличкої групи, тобто якщо ви об'єднаєте Ось ви сидіте, давайте одна група, друга, третя, і що зайшло, що не зайшло, якусь провокацію, бо я б напевно з 2-3 людьми познайомився, і після цього у нас була б склалася якась бесіда. Це я от могилянці вивчив, вони одразу з першої хвилини.
Там навчання, розумієш, але я погоджуюсь з тобою, що цей момент, де створити ефект певного знайомства, щоб це дійсно було як ком'юніті, щоб не розбігалися.
Вони ж, я тут просто за фалдефрака хапав, щоб LinkedIn взяти. А так, то ми після 2 слов, просто мені поштовх треба. Вони, напевно, тут ще на припаті всі перезнайомилися, але я не певний.
Ні, не всі. Все рівно були люди, які приходили після.
Треба подумати над тим, як занетворкати.
Саме просте. Ми будемо вирішити таку задачу. Давайте ви на 3 групи скажіть нам по 3-4 варіанти, як її вирішувати. І вони між собою, коли об'єднаються, то
Слухай, над задачею це треба тоді прибирати, щоб щось розказували, і залишати задачу.
Дуже просту.
Ні, дивися, серйозно. Я поясню 2 моменти. Тут принцип мені зрозумілий, просто я просто знаю, як Могилянка це робить. Я розумію, що там трохи тумачилось, так не буде, але сам формат просто якогось мікробрейншторма на 5 хвилин, тут 2 моменти. Треба зробити, щоб це не потягнуло в часі, бо це може бути. Бо поділили, а потім ще ж розказати, якщо кожен з 4 груп розкаже, то це хоп, в тебе мінімум півгодини, а то й 40. І ти фактично виходить.
Так, голосуванням
А працюєш, знаєш, основний вектор просто там людей засвітити, основний запит у людей. Я сюди прийшов на 1,5 години послухати розумних людей, хулі я слухаю ці тупих людей, які зараз тут щось
Якщо ми кажемо...
Вибори, демократія жахлива. Тут, коротше, я думаю, що це треба зараз буде щупати.
А ти поставив стали, вибач, я щось
так.
вроді так. Все, можемо йти.
Окей, ходімо. Я вам сказав, що треба трохи градус інтерактивності прямо.
Ні, це 100%, я думаю, треба буде точно придумати.
Можна інший формат брати.
Подумав.
Я думаю, ми можемо відправляти цей формат, собі якісь сторіс, а потім включати, наприклад, бізнес-кейс.
Ви ж рано чи заперечте в якусь школу.
У нас якби нема цілі прям школи, можливо, будувати, але
is great. Oh my god, what the fuck else does she need to?